Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. The sensex and the nifty end with minor cuts after hitting another record high in early trade. Veteran investor Mark Mobius says he remains a big bull on India, but adds that he's yet to see a big shift in flows from China to India. Says India needs to expand its market with more equity offerings and IPOs. That's an exclusive. Compensation for CEOs is booming in India. Deloitte survey highlights a 40% hike in average CEO salaries in the last 4 years. Average compensation stands close to 14 crores. The salary of promoter CEOs is growing faster than professional CEOs. Government's bad bank takes over almost 50% of the NPA accounts identified under Phase 1 from banks, aims to acquire over 83% of 1.68 lakh crore rupees worth of stressed accounts by the end of FY25. The Delhi High Court dismisses Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwals' petition against his arrest by the Enforcement Directorate in the liquor policy case. The Aam Aadmi Party is likely to move the Supreme Court. Domestic airfares surge on key routes. Flights from Delhi to Mumbai costlier by 10% in April compared to March. Flights to Bengaluru and Srinagar are expensive by over 30%. Tesla's entry into India will be a natural progression for the electric car company, says Elon Musk. The statement comes amidst reports of a Tesla team arriving in India to scout for locations to set up a manufacturing plant. The government's open network for digital commerce clocked 50 million transactions in FY24. Thampi Koshi, the head of ONDC, is targeting 50 million transactions every month by the end of this financial year. That's another exclusive tonight. Nearly a month after halting banking services following an RBI crackdown, the CEO of Paytm Payments Bank steps down. Surinder Chawla cites personal reasons to pursue better career prospects. After withdrawing troops from southern Gaza, Israel's Prime Minister says a date has been set for the ground invasion of Rafah. The US and other allies have cautioned Israel against invading the city, overcrowded with civilian population. Turkey imposes export restrictions on Israel until a ceasefire is declared. The Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi Alliance announces their seat-sharing arrangement for the upcoming Lok Sabha polls. Shiv Sena UBT will contest 21 of the 48 seats in the state, including 4 out of Mumbai's 6 seats. The Congress will contest 17. The NCP Sharad Pawar have been allocated the remaining 10. The battle for Meerut in western UP heats up. BJP is fielding a political rookie in actor Arjun Govil, who famously played Lord Ram in a TV series, The Ramayan. The Opposition India Alliance has already changed 2 candidates. A ground report coming up. As always, let's start with the day's market action. The Sensex and the Nifty hitting a record high in early trade, but profit booking in late trade wiped out those gains. Both the indices closing with marginal losses today. The mid-cap index also snapped an 11-day winning streak. That's the story for the mid-caps, down by about 150 points. The Nifty Bank, though, closed higher in the green, managing to buck the trend thanks largely to ICICI Bank. So that is the story as far as our markets are concerned. But staying with the markets, the big newsmaker tonight, veteran investor Mark Mobius says he remains a big bull on India. Mobius expects India to take up the slack in manufacturing with China's economy slowing down. However, he did say that he's yet to see a big shift in flows from China to India. Mobius added that India needs to expand its market with more IPOs and equity offerings to attract global investors. Take a look.
I've been a big bull on India. But we must take a long-term view. And if you look at the long-term, India looks terrific. It's got the right population structure. Now with China slowing down, India is going to be taking up the slack in terms of manufacturing and exports. So India is in a very good position. There's no question about it.
You've previously given a target that the Sensex is probably going to hit that 1 lakh mark probably in the next 5 years. Leave us with any kind of targets for the Nifty and the Sensex, maybe near term, maybe long term, maybe 3 years, 5 years.
Well, I stick with that target. I think that's going to happen maybe even sooner than I expected, no question. The US market has done very well, but at the end of the day, India is now beginning to outperform the US market, and it makes sense for people to look at India. Now, of course, there's a problem of size. There needs to be more equity offerings in India, more IPOs, and hopefully more government enterprises being listed in the market because, as you know, India has some very large government enterprises that could be listed.
Well, that's Mark Mobius on India. Crude oil prices, meanwhile, continue to inch higher, with Brent crude nearing the $91 mark. Prices were cooling off after Israel decided to withdraw most of its troops from southern Gaza. But fresh statements from Israel's Prime Minister saying that a date has been set for the invasion of Rafah has clearly weighed on sentiment. Talks to clinch a ceasefire deal are still underway in Cairo, but a Hamas spokesperson has said the fresh threat from Netanyahu could derail those negotiations. Well, the big corporate story, India Inc. CEOs have seen a 40% hike in their average salaries in the last 4 years. This as per a survey by Deloitte India. The survey also highlights that every second CEO in India now has an annual pay package of over 10 crore rupees. The average annual salary of CEOs stands at over 14 crores in 2024. Rima is standing by with the details. Rima, so CEO comp looking good.
You said it right. CEO salaries are booming in India, and I've compiled some of the key takeaways from the Deloitte India Executive Performance and Rewards Survey, and here they go. The average CEO compensation in 2024 in India stands at 13.8 crore. This is a good 15% jump compared to the prior year, and in the prior year, the jump was fairly meager, 6.25%. The average compensation is also up 40% compared to pre-COVID-19 levels, 2021. 1 out of 2 CEOs in India, that's 50% of them, have an average compensation above 10 crore. This compares with 1 out of 3 CEOs in 2020. 3 out of 4 CEOs, that's 75%, earn more than 5 crore. Also, there are 2 types of CEOs, promoter-driven and professional. Now, promoter-driven salaries have risen much faster. Promoter CEOs are paid an average of 16.7 crore in 2024. The reason is that, professional CEOs change more often compared to a promoter CEO who typically has a longer tenure at the company. Also, compensation is now getting more aligned to performance. Now, for example, for a professional CEO, 50% of his overall pay is variable. It's called pay at risk. For a promoter, that number stands at 47%. Also, moving on, CEOs who earn more than 20 crore, right? That's the bulge bracket. CEOs who earn more than 20 crore have doubled in the last 4 years. Promoter CEOs earning more than 20 crore is about 36% of the overall number surveyed, while professional CEOs earning more than 20 crore account for 17% of the overall number which is surveyed. Now, one of the driving factors for the surge in salaries is also the rising equity prices, because 25% of the overall compensation, the target compensation for professional CEOs, is delivered through long-term incentives, which for most companies is basically paid via ESOPs. So as the share price of the companies that they're leading goes up, the value of that ESOP continues to increase. In fact, more and more companies are opting for this ESOP, paying compensation via ESOPs. So 75% of the companies are using share-based incentive, which compares with 63% in 2020. And lastly, there has also been a fair amount of CEO churn. An analysis of BSE 200 companies, which excludes public firms, has revealed a staggering 45% of them changed their CEOs in the past 5 years. 6 out of every 10 new CEOs were promoted internally, that's within the organization, while the balance 4 were external hires.
Well, big paychecks there coming in for CEOs. Rima, many thanks for joining us. Now, over 3 crore shares of Axis Bank worth over $430 million have changed hands in trade via a big block deal today. Sources tell us that Bain Capital has offloaded its entire stake in the bank. The shares changed hands at a discount of 0.5% to Monday's closing price. And sticking with block deals of the day, shares of Gland Pharma under pressure after 5% equity worth 1,600 crore rupees changed hands. The floor price was set at a discount of over 7% to Monday's closing. Nicomac Machinery and Lakumi Trust together sold 4.9% equity for 1,400 crores. Buyers not known just yet. Well, the government's bad bank has taken over almost 50% of the NPAs identified under Phase 1 from banks. A government official has told CNBC-TV18 that the National Asset Reconstruction Company, known popularly as the bad bank, aims to acquire over 83% of the identified stressed assets by the end of FY25. Sapna joins us now to take us through more. Sapna, give us a status check of where things stand for the bad bank.
Well, we are given to understand that around 93,000 crores worth of NPAs has already been acquired by the NARCL, or the bad bank, so to speak, as of March 31, FY24 that has just ended, and this will be covering around 18 stressed accounts. We are also given to understand that in the current financial year, another big chunk of NPAs worth 76,000 crores is being acquired by the NARCL, and this will be covering around 24 more stressed accounts. So the total tally is going to be a neat sum of around 1.68 lakh crore by the end of the current financial year, covering 42 stressed accounts. So that's that's quite a bit of action in the last couple of months, because NARCL no doubt got off to a very late start. All of this was supposed to happen, and much more was supposed to happen way back March 2022. We are already in FY25, and it's like kind of trailing the kind of numbers or benchmarks that the government had in mind. But nevertheless, by the end of the current financial year, around 83% of the 2 lakh crore worth of fully provisioned bad loans that NARCL was supposed to acquire, that would be a done deal. And plus also, let's keep in mind that fresh base of NPAs is extremely tapered in the market as of now. So maybe by the end of the financial year, if all is well, NPAs is not going to be such a big and bad word. And if NARCL continues with its act together, then maybe all of this over the next 1 or 2 odd years will be a thing of the past, in the sense the numbers are not going to be really bad, at least for the next 2 to 3 odd years. This is the sense we get from government.
Okay, Sapna, many thanks for joining us. Elon Musk has once again teased us about Tesla potentially entering India. While speaking at a forum on social media platform X, Musk said that Tesla entering India will be, and I quote, the natural progression for the company. Now, these statements come after reports that Tesla is sending a team to India this month to scout for locations to set up a manufacturing plant. According to the Financial Times, the Tesla team will visit Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. Maruti Suzuki has expanded capacity at its Manesar plant in Haryana by 1 lakh units per year. With this, the total manufacturing capacity at Manesar now stands at 9 lakh vehicles per year. The automaker produces 8 models at the Manesar plant, including top sellers like the Brezza SUV. Now, if you plan to book flight tickets from Delhi to Mumbai or Bengaluru anytime soon, you may have to spend up to 30% more. As per data from Yatra Online and Ixigo, the cost of a one-way ticket for certain routes has risen sharply when compared to the previous month. That's because this is, of course, a demand period where we've got schools going on holidays and so on and so forth, and you've also seen capacity being reduced even further. Danish is standing by with more. Danish, take us through what has led to the surge and which routes have been most impacted.
Well, the domestic air ticket prices on certain key routes have jumped between 8 to 39% as per the data provided by travel portals Ixigo and Yatra Online. According to Ixigo, spot airfare has increased the most by 39% on the Delhi-Bengaluru route, followed by 30% on the Delhi-Srinagar route, 12% on the Delhi-Mumbai and by 8% on the Mumbai-Delhi route. As per Yatra Online, spot prices have increased between 20 to 25% on Delhi-Goa, Delhi-Kochi, Delhi-Jammu and Delhi-Srinagar routes. According to experts, the rise in air ticket prices is because of the demand and supply dynamics. Moreover, it was already anticipated that by the end of FY24, there would be almost 200 aircraft on ground. Many experts also believe that the rise in air ticket prices is not only because of Vistara reducing almost 10% flights, but also because of the peak summer travel season from April to June. So clearly, there is a lot of demand for air travel, but because of supply constraints, we are seeing an increase in air ticket prices.
Danish, many thanks for joining us. Paytm Payments Bank Managing Director and CEO Surinder Chawla has resigned. According to Paytm's parent company 197 Communications, the resignation will be effective from the 26th of June. Chawla said he's stepping down for personal reasons and to explore better career prospects. Well, it makes sense given the fact that Paytm Payments Bank is now defunct. Private weather forecaster SkyMet has predicted an overall normal monsoon in 2024. As per the weather agency, monsoon rains during the June to September period are expected to be 102% of the long period average, which is the average rainfall received over a 50-year period. Cumulative monsoon rains nationwide between 96 to 104% of LPA is considered normal. However, SkyMet has cautioned that states in eastern India, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha and West Bengal could receive deficit rainfall. India's coal ministry is aiming to set up 20 new mines by the end of the year. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 the ministry wants to expand its coal output by 100 million tons through these 20 mines. This is an effort to ensure that coal is available to meet the country's rising power demand and reduce import. Minority shareholders of Jindal Polyfilms have filed a class action suit with the National Company Law Tribunal against the company's promoters. The shareholders allege that funds were siphoned off to promoters, resulting in a loss of 2,000 crore rupees. The NCLT has scheduled the next hearing for the 9th of May. Government-backed Open Network for Digital Commerce, or ONDC, has facilitated 50 million transactions since its launch in January last year. mobility category dominating the platform, with ride-hailing apps like Nammayatri that continue to form more than 50% of the total monthly orders. Categories like food and beverages, fashion, grocery, home and kitchen electronics, beauty and personal care are the other categories contributing to growth. Thampi Koshi, the head of ONDC, is targeting 50 million transactions every month by the end of this financial year. That's an exclusive.
Today we have, for example, March, we have about almost 8 million transactions. Can we make it like, five times of that? We are hoping that, by end of the year, we should be able to do in a month 50 million. That's, we can always take a stretch target and achieve that. That's what we are trying to push for.
That's ONDC. Ride-hailing major Ola has shut down operations in the United Kingdom, Australia and New Zealand. Ola says the company will continue to focus on its India business. The SoftBank-backed company has said that it sees immense opportunity for expansion in India, both in the electric vehicle and ride-hailing space. Food delivery platform Swiggy has seen a sharp jump in its valuation. US-based asset management company Invesco has raised Swiggy's valuation by 19% to $12.7 billion. This comes ahead of the company's planned IPO. Before Invesco, another investor, Baron Capital, had assessed Swiggy's fair value at $12.2 billion as of March 2024. Invesco had earlier increased Swiggy's valuation to $8.3 billion as of October 2023. In the insurance sector, PB Fintech stock was in focus after ICICI Lombard entered into a strategic partnership with Policy Bazaar. With this tie-up, ICICI Lombard products will now be available on policybazaar.com. The partnership benefits both as they are leaders in their respective spaces. The US government is planning to grant more than $6 billion as a subsidy to Samsung to expand its chip production in Texas. As per a report by Reuters, the subsidy, which could be announced next week, will go towards construction of 4 facilities. This includes a $17 billion chip-making plant that Samsung had announced in 2021. As part of the deal, Samsung will also reportedly double its investment in the US to over $44 billion. Just yesterday, the US granted a $6.6 billion subsidy to Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company to make the world's most advanced chips in Arizona by 2030. In a setback for Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi High Court has rejected his plea, upholding the legality of his arrest by the ED. The court has said his arrest was legal and so was his remand to the ED custody. Ashmit joins us now with more. Ashmit, a setback for Arvind Kejriwal. The next stop, I would imagine, is the Supreme Court. Where does this leave Kejriwal and his quest for relief?
Well, a tough day in court for the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. His application challenging the arrest and then the subsequent remand have both been dismissed, rejected by the Delhi High Court. The High Court holding that his arrest is legal, his remand is legal as well. So how did the High Court arrive at this assessment? Well, the High Court begins by saying that it does not want to dwell on the politics of this entire affair, going in to say that extraneous political influences should not be allowed to affect this judicial process. That, in fact, at one point also noting that this is not a dispute between the centre and the Delhi government, but rather it's a dispute between an accused and the Enforcement Directorate. That's one. Second, the Delhi High Court notes as a part of the order on the question of timing of the arrest that was raised by Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal had argued in the High Court that this timing is something that is designed to disable him, to skew the level playing field ahead of the Lok Sabha elections, is designed to humiliate him. However, here the High Court notes that this excuse would not have been available to him, this argument would not have been available if he was arrested in October of 2023 when the very first summons was issued. And further, going on to say that it is only his own delaying tactics that have led to the ED arresting him in March of 2024. And finally, the High Court frowning on questions being raised on the credibility of statements being given by approvers and witnesses. Here the High Court has held that this was done in the presence of a magistrate, and therefore to raise questions on credibility would be casting aspersions on the judicial process. So on those counts, the Delhi High Court rejecting his application, but it's not the end of the road. The focus, we now understand, will shift from the High Court to the Supreme Court. The Aam Aadmi Party is expected to challenge this High Court order before the top court.
Ashmit, many thanks for joining us. A Delhi court has extended the judicial custody of Bharat Rashtra Samiti leader K. Kavita in the Delhi liquor policy case till the 23rd of April. This comes a day after the court refused to grant her interim bail, saying that she was actively involved in the alleged money laundering offence, as well as destruction of evidence and attempting to influence witnesses. Kavita is the daughter of the former Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao. In a letter to court, Kavita referred to herself as a victim, alleging that her political reputation was being targeted and privacy being invaded evaded. The BRS leader also hit out at the BJP and alleged misuse of central agencies. The court has refused Kavita the permission to address them personally, saying she could request in written form. Up next on India Business Hour, the battle for Meerut in Western UP heating up. A ground report when we return. And you can catch all of CNBC-TV18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. The Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi Alliance has announced its seat-sharing agreement for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. The Shiv Sena UBT will contest 21 of the 48 seats, the Congress 17, and the remaining 10 seats have been allocated to the Sharad Pawar faction of the NCP. Meerut in Western UP, known for more than just about its historical significance, is a hub for sport and logistics. Now, for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, the BJP fielding a political rookie in actor Arun Govil, famous for essaying the role of Lord Ram in Ramanand Sagar's TV epic Ramayana. The India Alliance, meanwhile, has already changed 2 candidates. In our ongoing series, Election Exchange, Abhimanyu Sharma reports the constituency is set for an interesting battle, but the issues that will hold sway range from corruption and farmer distress to the prices of sugarcane.
With the second highest per capita income in Uttar Pradesh after Noida, Meerut is also known as the sports city due to a thriving sports goods industry. It's also an upcoming logistics hub, courtesy the Ganga Expressway, the Delhi-Meerut Expressway, the Eastern Freight Corridor, and India's first regional rapid transit system, commonly known as the Delhi-Meerut RRTS. It's not just the government's thrust on infrastructure development that has helped Meerut move towards becoming an economic hub. Government policies have also been welcomed by the people, like the recent rooftop solar energy scheme.
ये बहुत फायदेमंद है। एक बार पैसा खर्च करो, जिंदगी भर निफराम रहो। समरसेबिल, कूलर, पंखा, टीवी, एसी, सब चीज चलता है। मेरा लगाता जी 1 लाख रुपए का समथिंग में। मेरे पास 6 प्लेट है, 12-13 रुपए तो बैठ ही रहा है, तो इतना बचत है।
But the city's celebrated sports industry is asking for more policy initiatives that will help it lower production costs, increase competitiveness and generate more jobs.
हमारे यहाँ जैसे स्पोर्ट्स कोर्ट्स के अंदर सिर्फ वुड्स की दिक्कत है, जो कश्मीरी लो आता है उसकी उपलब्धता नहीं है, वहाँ से बैटरी बन के आता है, लकड़ी की बड़ी कमी है। और गवर्नमेंट ने जैसे इसमें कहा था व्यापारियों के लिए फैक्ट्री लगाने के लिए ज़मीन उपलब्ध है, वो अभी तक कोई ज़मीन उपलब्ध नहीं कराई गई। सरकार कहती है खेलो इंडिया, फिट इंडिया। जब खेल के अंदर इतना भारी GST, 18% का स्लैब भी हमारे अंदर, जितने भी गरीब बच्चे हैं, जैसे तेंदुलकर हो, धोनी हो, सब निम्न वर्ग से आए हैं। ये जितनी GST कम होगी उतना बच्चा खेल सकेगा, उतना सामान सस्ता होगा।
Residents have a mixed reaction to Rajendra Agarwal, the current BJP MP from this constituency, who has won the last 3 elections. While they say there have been a few improvements in their lives, their demands are not just economic. Some long-standing issues, they say, have still not been addressed.
हाई कोर्ट बेंच की तो पश्चिम उत्तर प्रदेश में बहुत सख्त आवश्यकता है। इलाहाबाद यहाँ से दूरी इतना है, अगर लाहौर हाई कोर्ट की बात करें तो वो नजदीक पड़ जाएगी।
जो ये पशु छूटे हुए हैं ना, जो फसल को नुकसान कर रहे हैं, किसान तो परेशान है ही। संसद को पिछड़ने वाले ने ना कुछ काट डाला, ये क्या काट देंगे करने वाले।
गुंडागर्दी तो अब सब बंद है ही और सब सुरक्षित है।
मसला कौन सा, कोई हमें रोटी देंगे खाने के लिए, तो अपना खाना कमाना है।
Incumbent Agarwal won the last elections by a slim 4,700 vote margin. To mitigate any anti-incumbency factor and to capitalize on the religious fervor in the state since the consecration of Ram Temple at Ayodhya, the BJP is fielding Arun Govil from this seat. Remember, Govil played the character of Lord Ram in the TV serial Ramayana.
If you see the visuals here, it's very good. I'm already connected with people through my emotion, through my love, through my respect. We have sacrificed so much for this Ram Mandir. Once the results comes and I'm there, then we'll decide the strategy how to help people. Since last 10 years, the kind of development which we are watching, it's huge. And in Meerut also, the development has been huge. So, but we'll try to do it more and more faster.
Govil may be confident of a welcome by the electorate, but his candidacy is being received with ambivalence by some.
जो पहले यहाँ सांसद रहे वो कभी जो है बहुत ना के बराबर आए हैं, तो ये नए आए हैं, इनका भी कोई पता नहीं जी भाई यहाँ क्षेत्र में किस तरह से कहेंगे, एक तरह से नए हैं।
The opposition India Alliance, meanwhile, is also aware of Meerut's importance and has already changed its candidate twice. But as election day draws near, It's clear that rhetoric alone will not sway the voters. While Meerut had emerged as the most favoured investment destination in Uttar Pradesh at a recently held investment summit, the sprawling Lok Sabha constituency, which also includes Hapur, has several long-standing demands like the setting up of a High Court bench, as well as several new demands which include not just simplification of the GST regime, but urban infrastructure to support a growing population, as well as more industries to wean away people from agriculture. In Meerut, with video journalist Gaurav Tyagi, this is Abhimanyu Sharma for CNBC-TV18.
Now, a woman in Bengaluru allegedly lost 10 lakh rupees and was forced to strip on camera after being now called what is a FedEx scam. This is a scam where fraudsters call the victim and falsely claim that they have a FedEx parcel in their name which contains contraband-like drugs. Archana is here with more on the modus operandi of the fraudsters and how you can protect yourself. Archana, harrowing story coming in for Bengaluru. What do we know about this FedEx scam?
Shireen, this story is for anyone and everyone who uses a phone. I'll tell you why. The quote-unquote FedEx scam has once again become a nightmare for Bengaluru. A top police officer in the Bengaluru police has confirmed to CNBC-TV18 that a young woman was allegedly forced to strip naked and was made to transfer 10 lakh rupees to several accounts after some scamsters called her posing as custom officers from Mumbai. She was told that a parcel in name had been caught with 140 grams of MDMA, which is a banned synthetic drug. She was reportedly asked to switch on her camera and take off her clothes for a narcotics test. The scamsters then blackmailed her that if she did not follow their instructions, her video would be released on the dark web. The Bengaluru police has filed an FIR against the unnamed accused, and the police have also reached out to the banks to which these money transfers were made. Amidst all this, FedEx, the courier company whose name is being misused by these fraudsters, has issued a statement saying that they never ask any customers for their personal details and that if any individual receives any suspicious phone calls or messages, they are advised not to provide their personal information. Instead, they should immediately contact the local law enforcement and authorities or report to the cybercrime department. This is not the first time that such a case has grabbed headlines. In January this year, a journalist in Bengaluru allegedly lost 1 crore 20 lakh rupees in the same FedEx scam. In Tamil Nadu also, the police claimed last month that at least 390 people in the state have become victims of the FedEx scam in the past 2 months. Now, these fraudsters impersonate as FedEx employees and make fake calls to victims, preying on their anxieties and vulnerabilities. We at CNBC-TV18 also urge our viewers to exercise caution while answering unknown numbers. Back to you.
Absolutely, Archana. Many thanks for joining us. And as Archana pointed out, please be very, very careful if you get calls from unknown numbers, especially asking you for personal information, for information pertaining to your bank account, Aadhaar, PAN number. Please do not provide that information. Please check with your bank. Please check with your phone company. Please don't fall for traps where somebody says they're calling from FedEx with a courier or DHL with a parcel and so on and so forth. Be very mindful of the calls that come your way and the information that is sought. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour. Thanks very much for watching. The news will continue right here on CNBC-TV18. Stay tuned.